Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video is about the Dislyte PvE Divinate tier list for 3.4.6 update. So you can see here, the tier list here already input some of the Esper. Is because this part here is actually the continue of the previous version of tier list. Alright, because in terms of Divinate, it doesn't have much changes. It's more like just some tuning and add in the new Esper here. So I won't be remaking a whole guide like for 1 hour long. So if you want to know like more detailed information, you can watch back the old one. But if you don't want to watch back the old one, you can also just straight away come to the new one. I'll briefly go through the new Esper and then some tuning here. Okay, so I added a new section here, which is called the stats, which is if the Esper you want to definite is only purely for the stats, then maybe you rate it here. Okay, then for PvE meta, is if you are trying to get in PvE, they kind of is a must to get. Then strong is maybe the effect. The effect is matters to them. Let's say Ollie, let's say Narmer, like the definite doesn't really matter too much on them, but because of the effect, the attack up effect matters a lot to them. That's why it's on strong. It's not because Narmer is strong, it's because Narmer's Divinate effect is strong to Narmer, something like that. Then this is only for stats to focus. Then decent is, it is good to have, not really necessary you should focus on, because this guide here is the priority tier list, which is the what you should pick from the Divinate's selection pool. Right, and then the Na here is something you shouldn't actually actively aim for. You just, if they come from gold record, which is something good to have. Okay, so let's go. So meta PvE, I don't think Brewster is still the meta PvE tier. I think Brewster actually fell off a bit in terms of the usage for Brewster, and also the Divinate doesn't really matter too much on Brewster anymore in terms of PvE meta. Then the rest here, I think they are still the top 3 Esper you want to have the Divinate for the PvE content. Then for strong here, I do still think that most of them are still very the effect on them is still very important. Then the stats wise, let's see if something else is gonna upgrade, right? So I do think Raven needed the stat more. Then Donner is gonna be R6, right? So Gaius, Lucas, Senia, decent. Alright, all these things is not really that matter. Okay, 𝐃𝐈𝐕𝐈𝐍𝐀𝐃𝐓𝐄 I would say is go up to strong now, because more I see more usage on 𝐃𝐈𝐕𝐈𝐍𝐀𝐃𝐓𝐄, which makes his that Divinate actually matters more now. And then Anna here I also rate up to strong now, because the stats, the lifesteal actually matters a lot too much to Anna. Too much, it's no longer just decent, it's a lot more better. Okay, then for the rest here I think is still decent. Then because this is something you can actually aim for. Then I think armor can go down a bit. The healing effect still matters though, but I would say armor can go down a bit. Okay, then the rest here, let me see, let me go through one time. Not really that good, not really that good. I would say Biotina is nah. Gabriel one I would say is decent. Lucy, Clara one I will boost up to decent. Jiangjiuli in PvE you don't really need the Divinate. Then Abigail, Everett, Ophelia, Ife, Changji. Okay, Elaine one I would say is for the stats. Intisa I would say is the stats. If you want to use them, the stats is, matters a lot, even though in PvE. Then Valeria will go up 1 tier higher. Haley not really. Yeah, I think that's all the changes I'm gonna do for the previous tier list one. Okay, then I'm gonna add in the new Esper rounds now. So the first one I'm gonna go through is gonna be Yuhime. So let's take a look here. Yuhime Divinate is 50% chance of granting shield for 1 turn at the start of the combat, and this shield is only granting for herself. So in terms of PvE content, if you're gonna use Fumitsuki, is the Divinate really matters that much? I don't really think so. So I would say it's nah, just let it come naturally. Then for Yuran, the next one is Yuran. So let's take a look here. Yuran one is here. Yuran's Divinate is after casting the S3, the caster have a 100% chance of dispelling one buff from the target. This is something good to have. So I would say it's decent to have, because some dispel on the kit is good, even though if you're bossing or if you're using for Calamity Tower or even in Infinity Tower, the dispel it might come in handy. Okay, then the next one is going to be Fushi. Then Fushi one is pretty important, even though it's in PvE, which is before casting S3, you have a 100% chance of granting Defend Up first before you cast it. And this Defend Up will highly increase its damage because you skill with your damage, which is very important. So I would say Fushi's Divinate priority is actually very high, and the effect is very strong for it. Okay, then for Iki wise, Iki Definite is really good for the disease, but in terms of PvE, I would say it's not really that important to chase for if you're just PvE content, especially Iki is a PvE Esper. Okay, then for Chuyao here, damage taken in combat reduced, so your damage taken reduced. In PvE wise, you don't really need that because the Chuyao most probably will survive most of the time. So I would say it's actually is for the stats only, because you want the HP to increase the damage overall, because his damage is scaled with HP, right? Okay, then the next one here is going to be Wu Yu. Wu Yu's Divinate here is after casting S1, you have a 100% chance of inflicting stun on the target. So I do see Wu Yu, some of the player actually use Wu Yu for Infinity Tower to build a defender team, and use Wu Yu to actually cheese the Infinity Tower because the enemy was not able to kill Wu Yu and her defender team, and Wu Yu is actually able to clear them by herself with the others random defender team. So I would say it's actually stats very important for Wu Yu. It's not because of the stun effect, it's mostly because of the stats you are able to gain from the Divinate. Then the last one here I'm going to go through is going to be Suje. Okay, then Suje is not last one, we still have Sakura and Momo. Okay, Suje one here is very strong because after inflicting a Purple Art, if the target takes an action, then Suje will get an AP push by 20%. And not just that, and also the Divinate here, the stats boost is actually very important. So I will instantly put Suje at the PvE meta, because you'll be using Suje in a lot of cases, including Andras, including Desolate Land bosses, including Falsetto Fantasy bosses, Infinity Tower, all those cases. The stats is important for her, and the effect is important for her as well. Okay, then the other one is going to be Momo and Sakura. So let's go through Momo first. So Momo's Divinate here, 100% chance of granting attack out for 2 turns when casting Cat Claw Strike, which is the S3. So before you cast S3, you're going to get an attack up first. And also, as I mentioned, Momo is a very stats hungry Esper, and if you want to use Momo in PvE, it's totally doable, especially if you want to use her in Andras, you want to use her in Falsetto Fantasy, maybe as a DPS slot, but she's not going to be a meta slot there. So I would say the effect on Momo is going to be strong, but in terms of usage is another thing. Alright, but in terms of effect and the stats, Momo really need it. If you want to use her in PvE content like fighting in Dark Starlord as a Dispeller, or you want to use her in Infinity Tower, the stats and the attack up is very important for her. Okay, then for Sakura wise, Sakura here, while getting stunned, Sakura speed plus 50. So I don't think this effect really matters too much in terms of PvE content. But most likely you want is because of her stats, because the stats boost here, the HP increase, will actually help her healing increase as well, because healing is 10% on Sakura's max HP. So the higher max HP you have, the more healing you have, and you can actually use Sakura in APAC, you can use Sakura in Desolate bosses, you can use in Falsetto Fantasy bosses, and also a lot. As long as you need a healer as a buffer and a healer position, you can always use Sakura. So I would say Sakura, you're actually aiming for the stats in terms of PvE content. Okay, so I think this is the conclusion version of mine. Okay, so if you don't agree which part, you also can feel free to comment down and share which Esper you don't agree with. Alright, so I'll briefly go through one more time. Meta PvE is, if you're going to use this Esper in PvE content, their Divinate have the highest priority to get in terms for like this 4 of them. Then the strong one is if you want to use them in PvE, and the definite effect actually matters a lot. The stats and effect matters a lot to them, then they'll rate into this tier. Then for stats wise, if you're going to use this Esper in PvE content, their Divinate is actually focused on the stats, it's not because you want the effect. Then decent here, if you get them, it's something you can actually go for. Like let's say Champagne. The effect on Champagne is not something game breaking, but it's something to good to have. Then the Na here, I would highly recommend don't actively chase their Divinate in the Divinate selector pool. So just get them normally from the gold record will do. Then the decent above one, you can use your Divinate summon to actually aim for the PvE content. Right, so hope this guide actually help you guys out for your Divinate selector pick. Right, so yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is JenMP, Roses15, Molcult Rajili, the Bluers Chulain, thank you so much for the support. And for the supporter and patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Code Wilderness, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwaltz, Rimu, Shawnee, Von Hexa, Luxley, Rawson Bessie, Antonio Winterspoon, Noah Archive, and Marlene Williams. Thank you so much for the support, and special thanks to everyone who have been 1 month, 2 month, and 4 months straight in my support. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.